How does Eclipse remote debugging actually work? Imagine being able to fix a problem in a program running on another computer without ever leaving your development environment. That's what Eclipse remote debugging makes possible. It's a powerful way to troubleshoot applications that run on different servers or environments where you can't run the code directly on your local machine. First, you need to prepare the remote application to accept debugging connections. This involves starting the Java virtual machine on the remote host with specific options. These options tell the JVM to listen on a certain port for debugging commands. For example, you might add parameters like xdebug and uxrundsp. Transport is equal to .succot address is equal to port, server is equal to y suspend is equal to n. Here, transport is equal to .succot means socket communication. Address is equal to port sets the port number. Server is equal to y makes the JVM act as a server waiting for connections. And suspend is equal to n means it starts running immediately without waiting for the debugger to connect. If you set suspend is equal to y, the JVM will pause until the debugger connects, which helps catch issues during startup. Once the JVM starts with these options, it outputs a message saying it's ready to accept debugger connections on that port. Next, you set up Eclipse to connect to this remote JVM. You create a new debug configuration called Remote Java Application. In this setup, you specify the host name or IP address of the remote machine and the port number you set earlier. The connection type is usually socket attach, which means Eclipse acts as a client connecting to the JVM's debug server socket. You also link this configuration to your project so Eclipse can match the source code with the running application. When you launch this debug configuration, Eclipse tries to connect to the remote JVM. Once connected, Eclipse and the remote JVM communicate using the Java Debug Wire Protocol. This protocol transmits commands like setting breakpoints, stepping through code, inspecting variables, and viewing the call stack. When you hit a breakpoint, the remote JVM suspends execution, and Eclipse displays the current state of the program. You can then pause, resume, or step through the code, just like debugging locally. This setup allows you to diagnose issues in applications running on servers or other environments without needing direct access to their runtime. It's important that the source code and compiled classes on your local machine match those running remotely. Network settings and firewalls must also allow Eclipse to connect to the debug port. For native or embedded systems, Eclipse can connect using tools like gdbserver, which is a remote debugger for native code. Remote debugging is especially useful for troubleshooting production-like environments where running code locally isn't practical. In essence, Eclipse remote debugging works by starting the remote JVM in debug mode with a listening socket, then connecting Eclipse to that socket. This connection allows you to control and inspect the remote application as if it were running locally, giving you a seamless debugging experience across different environments.